This is Justin on Friday, November 25th, 2022, looking at SPX. Market just closed at noon. I think. Looks like it's still going. Should have just closed. Yep, it closed. I'm not sure what's going on here. Somehow we have some candles going on after 12. But pretty much a nothing sort of day. I'm trying to back this up. There we go. So that's what we normally look at. On the daily, really small candle. What would you expect, right? So the range is only 13.26. I'm gonna a little bit discount this because it's a holiday and it's a half day. But if you go back and look at last year, let's see if we can scroll there. We got this candle. This was Friday, November 26th last year. And we had a really nice bearish gap and go below these two candles. This would have been a great 10 EMA on a daily. Well, no, not a 10 EMA because this is the 5 EMA. Never mind. Really nice bearish gap and go. Recovered a little bit on the Monday and then rolled back down, almost tagging the 100 there. So today, this looks a little different. There we go. Right back. There we go. So we're still, I think, headed back up. The last time we touched the 200, yep, was back here in June. I think we're headed towards that. Didn't get much movement on that today. We did have some consolidation right out the gate and then a move up. So even if we tie into kind of that last candle from yesterday, kind of some compression there, really nice hammer, hammer, hammer. Not a 10 EMA setup, but that would have been a great trade right here. Like that's your risk, right? And that would have been a nice move up to 1.5 R maybe. Wasn't too much else to play. Got kind of a double top. Some really nice bullish, well, barely bullish, but green candles. So this was a nice 10 EMA setup. If you kind of played out this double top, it should have rolled over here, and it didn't. It retested again and then rolled over. You can kind of see that, but just a really quiet day. So a good day to go absolute zero on something, go with something small, and look for a retest, not necessarily a breakdown. So this, we can look at this real quick and see, could that have worked out? We're going to be looking at options pretty close to maybe 40.25 here, or 40.30, something. Like we didn't really move much. So this was at 10.18, 10.21. Let's go look at what was going on here. So bull candles or bear candles here at those times that broke down, but it, we did have it kind of show up as a double top and a neckline here. And then if that's on the 40.25 call and then the 40.25 put, at those times we weren't getting above the 10 yet. So we're still down here. Could have taken that as kind of like a breakout sort of move. So like a stop limit, maybe a stop at 225 and a limit down at 2. It would have filled in the next candle. Stop down at 1 would have been a good one to just kind of flip out for an R. Maybe it looks like 2 was possible back to this previous pivot. That's the only real thing that played out later in the day. Earlier in the day, we just talked about the hammers in here. Even the 40.25, the range on this was more than $1, so it would have been a little bit tough to get that. You could have set it up with a stop at 6 and an entry at 7. It looks like it would have filled the next candle, but why would you have known to do that? The only thing you had going for you is these lower highs, then that broke out, and then a retest back into the middle of this candle. So maybe getting it set up, like, I'm not even going to say 7 by 6 because you want your stop below here. So maybe 750 by 650. Even that's a stretch. I would probably do, I didn't do this, but 750 by like 550. That would have been $200 risk. That moved up to about an R. But probably best to go out to another option and do that. So yeah, just let me zoom out here. Just a really quiet day. We made a slightly higher high again. And I'm seeing a bigger compression here. Obviously we're just kind of stepping up ever so slightly. So we have increases here. And if I go back a little further and draw this, I don't think this is turning into a wedge. A wedge you want to see steeper. Like this would be the angle that I would expect things to be kind of compressing for like a wedge. And then to break down, which this one obviously didn't. It broke out the next day. And then you did retest back into that level. But I don't think we're in like a wedge right now. I think we're just compressing because it's a quieter week. And I think Monday we're going to have kind of a bigger move back up and continue into the 200, or at least these lines in here. We've got 3 bull candles in a row. This one, again, I'm going to discount it because of the size of it. We didn't really do any gapping. 2 days ago, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. So from Monday to Tuesday, we had a bullish gap and go. I think we could still rely on the strength from that to push us up a little bit higher. I mean, we have been pushing up higher, but I think we're starting to run out of steam. We need a little more compression. That's kind of the flip side there. A little more compression, maybe even another push back down. There's, I think we're gonna. I think 2 things can happen. We can either push into the 200 and run through it, and people getting on bullish and do something different than this candle, or we're going to chop around in here. We could tag the 200, go back, tag the 100, and go sideways a little bit before we eventually go down. I think we need to trap some more bulls before we go back down. So we'll look at that soon on weekly charts. And well, let's go look at a weekly right now. What does this week look like? I was going to say we'll look at monthly charts at the end of November. What's the weekly doing? I have not looked at the weekly chart in a while. Okay. That's interesting. What if we went up to the 100 on a weekly? A really nice bounce off of the 200 on a weekly. I've not looked at this in a while. So my initial thought is that 100 on a weekly is a really nice target, and it's lined up. It's still not even coming down yet. We kind of sloped flat here, and then we continued on up. The 200 still sloping up. So if we get outside the range of no, I can't remember which one it was. If we get outside the range of the 200 on the daily, I think we could potentially, with some S curving, I think we could get up to the 200 to the 100 on the weekly here. That's really interesting, and still be making lower highs. We just might not hold this previous pivot, which some people argue, oh, we're not in a bearish market anymore or something, but I think you have to really take a step back at this. So yeah, if we end up pushing through the 100, keep saying 100. If we keep pushing through the 200 on the daily, I think we could get up to this line. This line is pretty close to the 100 on the weekly. So 200 daily, if we get through that, get to the 100 on the weekly is the next target. I think that's entirely feasible, and all of that will still be below the previous longer term pivot, which is on the weekly, or up here, and then the previous one here. So we'd still be making lower highs. I think that's still possible. I think people will think that we're doing more of a channel at that point, which then they'll expect us to roll back down. We go back down to the 200 on weekly, and probably we would ignore the, maybe not ignore, but it wouldn't be as important, the 100 on a daily. So bounced off of that here. So yeah, that changes things. I can see a similar shape, like, so this is complete speculation, but if we were to, let's say, try to get the range right. Can I move this now? So if we're doing, if we're doing something, no, it'll be over here. So ignore the little bit of the tail there. So if we push up to the 100, we push up to the 200, pull back a little bit, push up to the 100 on the weekly, which is up here, pull back into this, get a little bit of a bounce, and then pull back. And by this time, the I'm gonna draw now. The 100 could be over here. This 200 would kind of flatten out. And then you got the 100 on weekly. That's too low. The 100 on the weekly is doing something like that. So I think that's a target. You're going to interact with this level some. You're going to interact with it, come back down. I think overall you're still doing lower highs, and this is bigger perspective. So we'll look at the monthly at the end of November and see if that changes at all. But that's kind of some of my thoughts. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Thanksgiving weekend. Happy Thanksgiving, anyone who is watching this channel. Appreciate your views, and we'll be there till Monday. Hope this helps. Thanks.